Here we are, clearing the isms, catechism great. Our people out here struggling, trying to make it in the state. Everybody out here knowing it, but we the ones who late. Now family, we the ones who gotta delegate. Get that money in the pot, never be fake. Stick to code, stop for 3. What did he say? Create jobs, support our own. Educate the same empire back your home. Got 3 degrees, triple 10. 3 PhDs, that be on the CNN. DBTV, let's talk about negligence. Ignorance is bliss, but we can turn it to intelligence. Believe none of what you hear, half of what you see. Let's break it down here, I'm Dr. Boyce TV.
Good morning, Black people. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I want to welcome everybody to Dr. Boyce TV, or otherwise known as Intellectual Chocolate. This is the place where we have intelligent Black conversations. And if you are not Black and intelligent, or at least trying to be intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out because this is not a good conversation for you. Now, first of all, I want to say hello to everybody. I got to say hi to you guys because I appreciate you so much. And I know it's early in the morning if you're watching this live. It's early because I'm getting ready to fly today. I'm going to fly to New York City. We're doing our investment event this weekend. It's going to be an amazing investment seminar. If you want to learn about family wealth building for the next 100 years, if you want to learn how to turn your child into a millionaire, the formula is very easy. If you want to learn how to form investment clubs, if you want to form an economy in your own family, if you want to learn how to create wealth from scratch, it's the place to be. It's the place to be. I lay every inch of my PhD out there for you guys to utilize to achieve your goals. So feel free to go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. And if you can't make it and you just want to see the lectures, I actually have a recording of the lectures that I did in previous cities. We've been to Atlanta, we've been to Houston, we've been to LA, Philadelphia, London, where we formed the Black London Asset Acquisition Council, which was a club that we put together. BLAAC, get it? Black London Asset Acquisition Council. And so we were forming investment clubs in the cities that we're going to. So if you come to this event, I'm going to invite you to join an investment club. We're going to form it right there in the room. So we're not just going to talk. We're not just going to teach. We're also going to make sure that we reach. So don't just teach. We're going to reach, which means action in addition to the learning. So good morning, Elaine from Brooklyn. I hope you'll come out. You should come out, Elaine. You would like it. If you want to see just the lectures alone, by the way, and you can't make it, you can go to drboycemasterclass.com. That's drboycemasterclass.com. Adrian says your last stream cut out early. I know I was talking about Tank and his whole little, like, I can suck a man's blankety blank 2 times and still not be gay. I was talking about that, trying to be polite and nuanced about it, but who knows? Maybe they cut me out because, you know, the mafia is real. The agenda is real. Y'all know how it is. Libra, what's going on, Libra? Good morning, Street Vibe and Proud Caramel Queen and Joe Washington and Steph Bell. Good morning from Boston. Shout out your city. Please shout out your city. Devin, good morning. Doc C in New York. All right, you need to hear my music. You'll love it. Okay, all right, man. Well, you know, when you come to the event in New York, bring something that you can give to my son will be there, my woman will be there, my team will be there, my manager will be there. So if you got anything you want to get to me, that's the time to do it. That is the time to do it. So get it to us and we'll put you at the front of the line, man, because we respect people that invest in themselves. Kathy Solomon, good morning. Libra Smith. Let's see, Traveling Diva, Tiny's right. Okay, we're going to hop into that topic in about 30 seconds or less. Jermaine, good morning, Jermaine. Hannah from DC. Charles Ingham, Ashe from California. Good morning to you, Charles. When am I coming to Charlotte? Probably sometime in the next year because I haven't been to Charlotte. Charlotte and Detroit are 2 cities I haven't gone to yet. We're going to do the All Black National Convention in Detroit next September. So mark that on your calendar. And also Charlotte, I'll put that in there somewhere. I'm also going to do the Essence Fest. So if you're going to go to the Essence Fest, we're going to do an event, a big event at the Essence, right next door to the Essence Fest, because, you know, the people at Essence, I'm not mainstream enough, I think, to fit into that category. I was actually banned from Ebony. I remember I was banned from Ebony. And Essence, they probably banned me too, because y'all know me, I got to tell the truth, but my truth is backed by logic and reason and intelligence. So they can't deny the truth. They can only get mad about it. All right, so let's hop in and let's do me a favor before we get started real quick. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't done that yet, please hit the thumbs up button right now on the count of 3. Thumbs up and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when we go live. So 1, 2, 3. Hit the thumbs up button, the notification bell. Type Black Power in the chat to let me know that you did that. So hit the thumbs up notification bell right now. Type Black Power in the chat to let me know that you did it. Okay. All right. So what's the topic for today? The topic for today is T.I. and Tiny. Now, y'all know I don't know if y'all know. Can anybody guess who my favorite rapper is? I've talked about it before. I told you guys who my favorite rapper is. Y'all probably know who my favorite rapper is. If you know me, you know who my favorite rapper is actually T.I. Now, I've even said things that got me in a whole lot of trouble. A lot of people got pissed off at me for saying this, but I actually felt I'm the same age as Tupac. Tupac and I were born about a month apart from each other. I think it was something crazy like that. I think our birthdays are super close. Dame Dash too. I think that's why Dame and I got along so well. Our birthdays were like almost identical. And I was in the Tupac era. Like I was heavy in the Tupac era, exact same age. And I followed T.I. also. And I really felt that T.I. was as good as Tupac, and maybe even better. I don't know. He had longevity, right? And then I love what he's doing for the community. But then again, maybe Pac would have done these things if he'd had a chance to live a little bit longer. But then sometimes how long you live comes down to what choices you make too, right? Now, I'm not saying Pac made bad choices, but shoot, when he wrote Hit 'Em Up, I don't know. Y'all know Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. That's my buddy. And Willie D said when he came on his channel and actually said, when I heard Hit 'Em Up, he said, I said to my friend, somebody finna get killed. That's exactly how Willie said it. Y'all know how Willie is, right? And Willie said he heard that song and said somebody's about to get killed. And that's true. Like some stuff sometimes you go into battle and it's like it gets to a point of no return. And I hope hip hop never gets to that point ever again, because it was a very dark time for hip hop in my opinion. But anyway, so T.I. is my favorite rapper, and T.I. has I've never met T.I. I know David Banner very well. I know Killer Mike very well, and they know him very well. So through transitivity, that's a mathematical concept. Through transitivity, we know each other. Maybe we know of each other. I have no idea if he gives a shit about what some little annoying professor in Chicago has to say. But I just want to say I give mad respect to T.I. for the work that he's doing in the world. I think that he's working to become an intelligent person and a contributor to society. And for that, I commend him, right? I give him a round of applause. Now, with that said, T.I. has been married for a long time. He believes in black love. He's got this wife, this wife named Tiny. And Tiny's interesting. Tiny's not just a little trophy wife. She's not a little just sit by the side and be quiet kind of woman. She's a woman that has an opinion. She has a brain of her own. She has a lot of talent of her own. She was part of that group Escape, I believe that's what the group was called. And she actually came on T.I.'s podcast, which is called Expeditiously, and they talked about relationships, and I thought that was really interesting. I like hearing black couples talk about black love, because you don't see that. You might hear black couples talking about interracial love, or black couples talking about gay love, or black people talking about like, I don't need no man, I don't need no woman, fuck these hoes, I don't need and that's fine. You're gonna get enough of that, right? You're gonna get enough of that black exploitation bullshit. But I think we need some good old fashioned black love. Two black people that have gone through their ups and downs. Y'all know that they've had their ups and downs, and who still love each other, who are still down for each other, who still have each other's back, who might hate each other's guts on Tuesday, but love each other to death on Wednesday, because that's what love is. Love becomes very complex over time, and I respect their relationship for that reason. Now, one thing that Tiny said, in fact, when Tiny talks, people listen, right? And so Tiny had an interesting point of view about relationships. She said that this is in Madame Noir, where she said that I think that she was talking about love, and she said that she feels, and I'm summarizing here, I'm gonna read some of this to you. She feels that that a lot of women should consider loving for security rather than just love. And she said that's what she was taught, that she was taught to marry for security rather than love. And then the conversation went into some more pretty interesting topics in the sense of kind of talking about, what kind of mate should you pick, and she was talking about how it was interesting. It was almost like she was talking in an innuendo, basically kind of saying that women who have a man that not many people want, that nobody wants, are happier than women who have a man that everybody wants. Well, I mean, of course, that's going to cause T.I. some problems, because T.I. is a guy that everybody wants, right? He's T.I., right? So that was interesting. I was reading that like, this sounds like a little jab at him, like when I replayed my life in my head, I kind of wondered what it would have been like to be with an average guy as opposed to T.I. Now, that's easier said than done, though, because a lot of women are always chasing after that alpha male type person like T.I. And so the grass is always greener on the other side, no matter who you are. And so I'm gonna read some of this to you and kind of break some of this down. Do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't done this yet. Please hit the thumbs up button. It's very, very important. And also, by the way, in case you want to know why I'm always interested in relationship topics, the first book I ever wrote was actually actually called Financial Lovemaking. It's actually out there on Amazon if you ever want to go pick it up. Financial Lovemaking, where I love to look at the intersection between love and money. I'm really fascinated by that. My expertise area when I got my PhD was actually in financial psychology. So I'm really fascinated by how money changes people's behavior, how money changes people's perspective, how money can free you or it can enslave you, all these things, and how money intersects with love. And also we did a film. We have a film division called Boyce Watkins Films, and one of our latest projects is called the Black Love the Black Love Blueprint. So if you want to go check out the trailer, go to theblackloveblueprint.com. That's theblackloveblueprint.com. So don't just support Tyler Perry films. Remember, we got Boyce Watkins Films too. And the only thing is it's a little bit harder for me because I ain't never gonna put on no Medea dress, but we're gonna keep it black and we're gonna keep it 100. So feel free to go to theblackloveblueprint.com to check out that trailer. So so here's one thing that she says. She says, I think it was so much it was more so about love back in the day because they had a lot of things to fight against. So she's talking about her interracial parents. If we're speaking about my mother and my father, they were fighting against racial issues. In the 60s, they had difficulties. He was getting locked up because he was riding with a white woman, and so on and so on. But I think it's changed a little bit now. Both agree that as time has changed and outward battles lessen, not ceased, of course, priorities when saying I do change. Tamika says she didn't realize this until she was told as a teenager that love isn't the most important thing in a marriage. I'm going to tell you, this is a quotation, I'm going to tell you, I'll never forget that when I was about 15 or 16 years old, Aunt Joyce, Candy's mama, I guess Candy's in that group, escaped with her, told me not to marry for love, marry for security. I didn't understand that at the time. T.I. cut her off to use her experience as a springboard to start ranting about how women are being trained and conditioned from childhood to look for mates who could give them a certain lifestyle. Okay, so T.I., so this is fascinating, right? So pay attention now. This is interesting. So right as Tiny says, like I was trained to look for security, T.I., which almost, if you really look at this, it almost sounds like a little jab at her too, right? Kind of saying like, yeah, these, how T.I. is, yeah, forehead women out here, they be chasing dudes because they got all that money, and she go be trying to come after my money. You know how T.I. is. I can't do my T.I. imitation, but like basically he's probably like the way shit attracts flies, like a rapper will attract gold diggers. Like you're going to attract not just gold diggers, but you attract the treacherous Cardi B, like I'm going to drug you and rob you while you're sleeping type gold diggers, right? You're attracting the absolute worst, of the worst, right? You're attracting the most challenging situations imaginable, and so but that's his life, right? That's just the experience that he's had. So he seemed to take offense to the idea that some women are reared as young women to want to be with a man that can provide financial security. Well, here's an interesting perspective on that, right? Now, let's just be clear. I've seen gold diggers too. I'm not T.I., I'm not a rapper, but even scholars have groupies. I kid you not. Like, it's very weird. They're what they call them sapiosexuals, like people that are literally sexually aroused by intelligence. And I kind of am overflowing with that, right? I had more education at the age of 25 than most people have in their whole life. I was teaching college students at the age of 22. So I have some of that, right? That's my swag. Everybody's got their swag. My swag is black intelligence, and it's fine. I accept it. I own it. It is what it is. Whatever. I'm not even bragging about it because I know the downfall of attracting all those women. So you're attracting women that are attracted to the clout. They're attracted to the money. They're attracted to some other things you may have. But the thing is, over time, you learn how to kind of smell an agenda when it's coming up. Like the same way the Democratic Party shows up at your church and eats barbecue chicken with the pastor and tells you that your ancestors died for you to have the right to vote. Like a lot of y'all can see right through that bullshit, right? Well, the same thing is true when I think you're a man or a woman or anybody who attracts a lot of a certain type of person. Like you can just tell, like, okay, yeah, I know. You want the money, you want to be close to this, close to that, but that's not going to really work. You have to have that balance, right? You're looking for substance. And so anyway, I think with T.I., it seems like he has that frustration with the whole, what they might consider the gold digger mentality. But let me tell you something about the gold digger mentality. Actually, studies show, I'm gonna get scientific with y'all real quick. Studies show that women, just generally speaking, are attracted to men that can provide security. That's just it. It's a fact. It's not sinister. It's not evil. It's not something that they just come up with. Women want men that can provide security. Let me give you an example. Let me help you understand why. Give me one word answer to this question. On average, not all women, I'm talking about on average, if you surveyed 100 women and said, which men do you prefer? Do you prefer the taller man Or do you prefer the shorter man? Which would they prefer? Would they want the taller man or the shorter man? The taller man. Okay. On average, if you survey, 100 women or 1,000 women, on average, would they want the man with the big muscles, or would they want the skinny little scrawny man who can't even pick up a piece of Popeye's chicken without falling over? Would they want the big strong man, or would they want the little weak man? Okay, next question. If given a choice, would women want the smarter man on average, not every woman, because sometimes people have freaky things they just want. Sometimes they just want a little scrawny little short man, right? But most women don't, right? Would they want the smarter man or the dumbass? Would they want the smarter man who's intelligent and sharp and sophisticated and can figure things out, or would they want the dumb man who can't even spell his mama's name? Smart or dumb? Which do you prefer? Which do you think ladies would prefer on average? Would they want the smarter man or the total idiot, like just stupid, right? Like dumb as hell, right? If given a choice, would they want a very powerful man who can snap his fingers like Thanos and make things happen, or would they want the little pussy ass man that nobody pays attention to, that gets no respect? No respect. Anybody remember Rapping Rodney? Can't get a break. Anyway, they will want the powerful man. Like Barack Obama, when he got elected, suddenly became one of the most desirable men on the planet, one of the most eligible bachelors in the world, one of the biggest hunks ever. They had the picture of him, the iconic picture of him in the Essence magazine, getting out of the limo with sunglasses on, looking like a movie star. And there people like, oh my God, I fantasize, I want to have this baby. Well, wasn't nobody trying to have this baby back when he was so broke that he couldn't even afford a rental car, right? And I can keep going. Would women on average want the man who's wealthy, who can put him on a private jet and a yacht, or the man who's broke, who only got a bus pass and some food stamps? Wealthy or broke? Wealthy or broke? Give me one word answer. Which do you think on average women would prefer, wealthy or broke? So where does that come from? What is all of this? What it comes down to is that, biologically speaking, through hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years of evolution, women have been wired to seek out men that can provide various forms of security. The stronger man can protect you. The smarter man can solve problems and figure things out. The man who's got wealth can help you feed your kids, right? The man who's got power can make things happen, right? And the list goes on and on. Even the fact that the women are attracted to men who are funny, even the fact that he's funny actually is comedy is a sign of intelligence. Some of the most intelligent people out here are comedians. Like, look at Dave Chappelle, right? And so the point I'm making here is that, this idea that you should be attracted to someone because of security, or that you should marry someone based on security, is not a foreign idea. This is something that is actually well embedded in cultures all around the world. If you guys have ever seen Nomalanga Mushali Moses, who I bring on here sometimes, Nomalanga she's almost like a princess. Like, her daddy's like very wealthy and successful in Botswana. And in her culture, from what I have gathered, you don't marry no weak ass, broke ass, scrawny ass, trifling ass man. You just don't. You marry a man who can bring some weight to the table. He ain't got to be necessarily big, but he's got to be powerful. Like he doesn't have to be, but that's preferred. That's preferable. In fact, she even says, I'm not going to marry a man who can't help feed me and my kids, right? So what Tiny said is not crazy. It's not out of the question. There's nothing weird about it. Now, what T.I. is bringing up, though, in terms of the whole gold digger culture, I think that's real. That's real, especially in hip hop, especially when you talk about, some of what young girls are taught in terms of what they're just chasing solely, like chasing on a one-dimensional level, because there is a downside to that. The same way there's a downside to men who only chase women with big booties, right? If all you do is you chase women because of what they look like and how big their booty is, then you're going to run into a lot of nasty ass, horrible, deceitful people who happen to have nice asses. And you can't let a person's entire personality escape your purview just because you're only paying attention to her ass. You're going to miss a lot of things if you're searching on a one-dimensional criteria, right? So same thing is true with the whole gold digger thing. You get women that only want the money, only want the power, and you can't stop for a second and say, wait a minute, what else am I getting with this man? You know, like, okay, I finally got this man that everybody wants. But wait a minute, that's the man that everybody wants, which means that if he has been out here and all these women have been sleeping with him, there's a very good chance, you know, you may talk about, you're talking about STDs, you may be talking about all kinds of drama. You know, you got guys, you know, you start dating Future. Can you imagine? I think Future is like the perfect example of that. Like, can you imagine like what kind of trauma a normal woman would have trying to date a man like Future, who's got like 18 babies mamas and like women everywhere and all this other stuff. Like if you know what it is and you're okay with that, then that's fine. I mean, I don't think anybody has a right to judge that, but you got to kind of look at the whole landscape and say, what am I getting here? So actually I brought this up before, but actually in economics, they call that the winner's curse. The winner's curse is when you're competing for something and you think you won, but really you lost. Like you're competing for that basketball player on campus that everybody wants, and you think you won, but 10 years later, you know, he's broke, he's on drugs, he got 4 babies mamas, you know, your life has been a living nightmare, and you end up, you know, and you're back in the poorhouse, and you're like, damn, I should have married the nerdy guy that I met in the biology lab because I don't think I would have got all this drama. So when Tiny later on in the article is saying that she thinks women can be happier if they pick the man that nobody wants, what she's actually referring to is exactly that, the winner's curse. They're like, look, okay, yeah, I get to be with this great famous rapper, and there's a lot of power that comes with that. But the dark side of that, the paradox of that, is that when this is the man that everybody wants, there's a lot of struggle that kind of might come with that, right? A lot of drama, just dealing with other women and dealing with other situations and other chaos that you may not want to deal with. So I thought that they both actually had a good point. And then T.I. actually came back when Tiny made the point to say, well, I think that women are happier if they're with the man that nobody wants. T.I. came back and made a very good point too. Like they're a very smart couple. So T.I. came back and said, he's like, hey, why the hell you think a woman gonna want a man that don't nobody want? Don't nobody want no man that don't nobody want? Why the hell you gonna think someone like he was coming back with his perspective, and he's right. Like nobody wants somebody that nobody wants most of the time, right? But think about that. The fact that nobody wants them means that you're probably not going to want them either, right? And so they both make a good point, right? On one hand, T.I. is basically saying, if everybody wants that man, then there's a reason for that, and you're lucky. Like you got the man that everybody wanted because nobody wants the man that nobody wants, and that's really true, right? But Tiny was actually digging into something that I've actually expressed and I've explained. I've actually told you guys. I actually give this advice for ladies that actually care what I have to say. Like you can feel free to ignore me if you want to, but there's something to be said about not so much being with the man that nobody wants. Like who wants that? Like there are people out there that nobody wants, but you won't want them either, right? But really that those people that fall under the radar, it's like shopping, right? Like if I'm shopping and I'm going to buy the most popular item in the world where it's, you know, where everybody wants it, chances are it's going to be overpriced. Chances are, because everybody wants it, it's not, the quality isn't going to match what you're not going to always get what you pay for, right? Or if I'm searching for a job and everybody wants this job, then I'm in a bidding war for this thing, right? A bidding war, economics, supply and demand. I understand this stuff very well, right? So I'm in a bidding war because the demand is up here, the supply is down here. So all the control, all the power is in the hands of the seller, right? All the power is in the hands of the person that controls the commodity that everybody wants. So if a person's manipulative, if the seller is manipulative, like I'm the man that everybody wants, so I got women on top of women competing for me, then am I really going to give you the best deal? Am I really going to be somebody that's really going to work hard to keep you? Or am I just going to say, well, you know what? If you go, then I got five, 6 other women just waiting for me to call them right now. Like I snap on my finger, things can happen, right? So if you're looking for a job, same thing. If you're looking for a job and everybody wants that job, then you're going to end up taking a lower pay, taking a lower salary because you're trying to compete against all the people that are offering to work for free. Right. And that's what it is. Like a lot of women are like, some women are coming to relationships expecting a quid pro quo, expecting a trade. Like I give you this, you give me that. I give you my body, you give me your love, or I give you this, I give you my time, and you give me the XYZ, right? Whatever it is, whatever the trade is, but you're competing against women who are giving everything away for free, who are like, look, you ain't got to worry about me expecting commitment from you. I don't need commitment from you. You can just do whatever you want. You ain't got to worry about me about respecting me. I don't need no respect. Just come over and just come, do what you want to do with me. I guess okay, because I'm just glad to have you, right? Like, you're competing with people that are giving everything away for free. So it's very hard to sell a commodity or to get a fair trade in a market where you're competing against people that are giving things away for free. Just like it's hard to go to a job and say, I want $80,000 a year when they have 100 people equally qualified willing to work for free. So Tiny's point about going after the man that everybody wants is actually on point. But Ti's point that nobody wants the man that nobody wants is actually correct as well. I believe that there's some value to actually finding people that fly under the radar. Like, so for example, when I was younger, even, I figured out when I was much younger, I never wanted the women that everybody was chasing after. I never wanted, because 9 times out of 10, unfortunately, in many cases, it wasn't true with Alicia. Alicia, actually, the woman I'm going to marry, she was prettiest thing I ever saw the whole time I was at Indiana University. Prettiest thing ever. But she kind of had a humility that I didn't see very often. A lot of times when I would meet women, y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all ever see like the woman that everybody wants, and then they end up being like the worst women in the world to deal with because they're spoiled and they expect, like, you buy them like $1,000 diamond ring and they're like, oh my God, this is so cheap, or I don't want this, or you do everything for them, you bend over backwards for them and they act like you ain't done shit. Or they complain about the things you didn't do right. Or the same thing is true with ladies. Like, I don't know if ladies have ever dated a man who everybody wanted and it was a nightmare because he was so spoiled. He didn't want to work for anything in the relationship. He didn't care about he wasn't respectful to you, things like that, right? And so I found one little secret was dating people that are slightly under the radar, where everybody isn't chasing them. A lot of times what you might get from that person is a level of appreciation and effort that you don't get from people who have everything just handed to them from the beginning. Like, for example, athletes, entertainers, wealthy men, etc., and really handsome men. There's a huge temptation for them to become spoiled. It doesn't mean they all are this way. I'm not saying that at all, but there's a temptation because think about it. I mean, if you just have everything you want just kind of thrown at you, it can just make you an undesirable human being. So you might land the prize. You might get to say, look, I married, ladies, you might get to say, I married Senator so-and-so, or I married, this millionaire or whatever. But then you find out that there's a dark side to that. Like Lisa Ray was talking about that. Lisa Ray was talking about how she married the guy who was the prime minister of Turks and Caicos. And she thought that was a big deal because she's like, oh, look at me, I'm the first lady, and I got to come up now, and everybody is going to respect me now. But then she found out that being married to the prime minister of Turks and Caicos meant you had a lot of competition. So ultimately, at the end of the day, Tiny made a very good point. Like, so if I were actually looking, like if I were a woman looking for a husband, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Let me tell you a statistic. I've mentioned this before. I'll mention again. Studies show that for every 100 black women trying to get married, there's 51 black men that are considered marriage eligible. 51 for every 100. That's just, again, take the data for what you want, but this is what the studies say. A lot of this is a result of incarceration of black men, as well as marginalization, just black men being pushed out of the economic system. Black men have the highest unemployment rate, etc. Black women also are more sensitive than other groups of people when it comes to wanting a man that can provide financial security. Like financial security for black women, it just means so much more because so many black women grew up without financial security. And when they say ain't nothing going on but the rent, that really is like a fact of life for a lot of black women. There's nothing to be ashamed about that. I'd say go for whatever is going to make you happy. And so basically, what I think it happens is that when you have people that everybody wants, and you get into these crazy competitions, you not only don't get what you're looking for, like if you're looking for long-term commitment or whatever, or security, whatever, you not only don't get what you were looking for, but you get a lot of things you didn't sign up for. I would actually, if I were a woman like that, I would probably marry. If I'm looking for marriage, I don't necessarily marry the guy who's like the number one cream of the crop guy. Or if I consider him, I look at all the other variables in terms of how he's going to treat me. How much does he value me? Like, does he consider it to be an honor to be with me? Or does he consider me to be the person who should have the honor of being with him? Right. I had a friend who got married to a guy who was he was so handsome that people used to mistake him for a movie star. Like, he was so handsome. He made a lot of money. He was a tall guy, very good looking guy. And she was a pretty girl, too. And I remember that she told me that he used to tell her, like, oh, you should be honored to be with me. You should be honored to be in my family. And he really meant that. He never told her she was beautiful. He never said, I'm really excited about being with you. I cherish you. He never said things like that. He would always kind of say, you know, you should be honored that you get the chance to be with me. Do you know how many women would want to be with me? And do you know what happened? That marriage was an absolute fucking nightmare. It was absolutely terrible for her, you know? And so what happened was she eventually divorced this man and she married a different man. And this other man was a guy who was ecstatic to be with her, who was completely honored to be with her, who was flattered to have her attention. And she treated him well, and he treated her extremely well. Every day he was on point. Every day he gave her 100%. Every day he told her she was beautiful. Every day he was down for her. Every day he was always checking to make sure, you know, she was okay, right? And so what you got was, you got two men. You know, maybe one man's better than the other, depends on how you look at it. But with one man, you had everything superficial attached to him, right? But then with the other man, you had something that's very important in relationships. Pay attention. It's a very simple idea. It's called effort. Fucking effort. There's a big difference between somebody who will simply sit in a relationship with you versus somebody who is going to bust their ass to make you happy. Can I get an amen in the chat for that? Can you please tell me that you understand what the fuck I'm saying? Because I'm saying it real slow so you will understand this. Effort. Effort. Think of it like a job. Think of it like a job, right? You know, you can have one job that is very prestigious, the pay's okay, the working conditions are okay, everybody wants their job, so they give zero shits if you take the job or not, and they treat you like crap the entire time because they know they can replace you like that. Versus another job where the pay is almost as good. Like this job pays $80,000 a year, this job pays 75. Maybe it's a little less prestigious, but they really want you. They really are happy to have you. They just love you to death. They want to make your working conditions as amazing as possible. They want to pay you as much as they can. They want to give you every promotion. They remind you every month or two how much they appreciate you, and you're happier on this job than you are on this job. You see, the difference, in my opinion, is that the people who take this job over here, that's going to be a pain in their ass, but gives them a little prestige. These tend to be people that need to be validated. These kinds of roles tend to attract people who haven't quite, you know, come into themselves in terms of self-esteem. They feel that having this job is going to make them into a more respected person, right? So picking this mate over here, because taking a job is just like getting married, just like dating somebody, right? So picking this mate over here makes you feel a little bit better about yourself, right? You're like, oh, look at me, I'm dating so-and-so. I'm dating the famous rapper. I'm dating the famous basketball player. I'm marrying the prime minister of Turks and Caicos. Now I get to be the first lady because now everybody's going to respect me like Michelle Obama, right? Whereas this role over here, I think, is a little bit for the people who are like, look, I don't need you. I don't need the prestige of being with you. I'm looking for the love. I'm looking for you to appreciate me. Like I love myself, by the way. I already love myself, and I love myself enough to know that the love that I'm offering is damn good love. When I take you in that bedroom, I'm gonna knock your socks off, right? When you spend time with me, you're gonna get attention and appreciation unlike anywhere else. When you know, for ladies, you know, when they like, when I meet your mama, your mama's gonna want me to be her best friend because I'm gonna be a wonderful addition to the family. And I know these things. I know that I am a superstar quality woman. And so what I need from you is I need effort. I need that special E. I need you to give me effort. That means I need you to understand the importance of the fact that we are in a two-person tango, which means that this is not a matter of me just sitting by your side while you engage in a bunch of trifling bullshit. This is a matter of you and I both putting in the effort to remind each other of how much we appreciate one another and doing our best every single day to enhance the lives of the other person that we're in this relationship with. That's what you look for. So a lot of times, another analogy is this is why I love breaking down relationships, because it's no different from seeking a job. It's no different from business, starting a business, right? Like, think about this. Who would want to start a business? It's all like sports teams. It's like all of these things I love, like sports and business and all that, right? So who would want to start a business with a lazy ass business partner who don't know what the fuck they're doing? Like who will give up at any sign of trouble, who isn't going to invest any capital, who isn't going to put in any labor, who isn't going to push hard, who isn't going to come to work every day, who's going to steal money from the company, right, and give it to other people. Who wants to start a business with a person like that? And if you don't think that marriage is a business, then you need to go back to school, man. Because marriage ain't nothing but, I mean, marriage itself, the institution of marriage is a legal contract. You sign on a piece of paper when you get married. So it is a legal contract. It's a business entity. It's like starting an LLC. So you're starting this business with this other person. And the number one rule of having a great team is picking good fucking teammates. A lot of people want to start a team. They start their franchise and they draft the worst player in the damn league because she's got a big butt and a smile. Or you draft the shittiest teammate you can find because he's handsome and has some swag and has a little money in his pocket. You can't do that. You got to find somebody who's going to be a good teammate, and being a good teammate starts heavily with that letter E. E for effort. Because ain't nobody, I'm going to tell you the truth. Like, people are not the same in every situation. Like even myself, I tell them myself, like, I'm not the same man all the time. I'm not a good man. I'm not a bad man. I'm just a man, right? And I'm a good man when I do my best. I'm a bad man when I don't try. I'm a good man when I put out effort. I'm a bad man when I give zero shits about a situation. When I am doing something I'm passionate about, something that I'm appreciative of, and I'm happy to be in that environment, I become employee of the year, boyfriend, husband of the year. I'm the greatest man ever. You'll sing my praises for the next 50 years. But when I'm in a situation that does not inspire me, around somebody that I don't really like that much, I become very distant. I become very cold. I become very uninteresting. I become just kind of trifling, right? And so ultimately, ladies, I think this is more so for ladies, but also for men too. I think it's really true for men as well, right? You want to find somebody where you are their muse. They are so inspired by you that every single day they're going to get up and give optimal effort. And also they're bringing some sort of skill and experience to the table that allows them to even know what optimal effort looks like. Because that's a whole nother conversation. Some people don't have good relationships because they don't even know what good relationships look like. They don't even know what it means to put forth effort. They don't even know what a man or a woman is supposed to do. Right. And if you're in that category, it's okay. Just go read some books about it. Go study, talk to some people that have been married. My parents, they just hit their 45th wedding anniversary about a week ago. And I got the chance to watch how my father showed my mother appreciation. I got a chance to watch how my mother showed my father appreciation. So I kind of knew what to do. I kind of knew what to look for, right? Some people do not have that, but you can find a lot of that in a book. You got videos out here. You got things you can go read. I read a book a long time ago called What Women Want Men to Know by Dr. Barbara DeAngelis. It was a great book that put me inside the mind of a woman to understand just how women see the world. And I'll never forget how that book helped me understand how different men and women are. We are so different from each other. It is ridiculous. So in order to understand women, you cannot just go inside your own mind. You must go outside of yourself and go read up on how women think and talk to your woman and all these things. Same thing is true with women trying to understand men. Don't sit around with your old broke ass, single ass, lonely ass, unhappy ass girlfriends and bitch and moan and complain about all the shit that he does. Or you can do that, right? Sit with some wine with your girlfriends and bitch about it. But then after that's over with, go study and try to understand what's making this man tick, because clearly there's a disconnect. You could be simple-minded and say, oh, he's an asshole. Who would do this? Why wouldn't you do that? In that situation, it only makes sense to do this. Well, that's because it only makes sense to you, because men and women's brains do not operate the same. If you want to understand your man, then go study men. Go read. There was a woman that I really respected a long time ago. I almost married her, and we were in our relationship. And I just asked her, I said, the lady that wrote that book about women, she also did a companion study book about men. And I said, can you read the book about men? And she was resistant. She didn't want to read it. She thought she knew everything. And finally, one day, as a favor to me, because she was a good person, she read this book. And she came back and she said, thank you for having me read that book, because now I understand so many flaws in my thinking when it came to men. Now I understand men much better. So you got to understand who you're working with, So I think that with Tiny and T.I., just going back to this final point, I think that they're both right. I don't think either one of them's right, either one of them's wrong, but actually both of them are right. Neither one of them is really wrong. I think T.I. has a good point about one, women don't typically want men that nobody wants, which makes sense, right? There's a balance. And then two, To the women being trained, the gold diggers and stuff like that, like that's dangerous, stay away from all of that. But Tiny was right also about the need for security, whether you like it or not. That's a real thing. You know, you can get mad about it, but no, I mean, you know, the women, a lot of women like security the same way men will always love women who have, you know, nice bodies and all these other things, right? So we can't get mad because women want what they want. And I think at the end of the day, the thing I'm really seeing here is it's about finding what makes you happy and what you can live with. That's it. That's what I admire about Tiny, actually. I admire this about Tiny in the sense that Tiny doesn't seem to care what other women think about their relationship. She just says, this is what I want. I'm happy. So when you say you're happy, I'm happy for you. You know, I'm not a fan of people that are like, oh, girl, you ain't really happy. You know, look at the way he rapping about other women. He doesn't. No, she's a real woman in my mind, because she's basically said, fuck all of y'all. You know, y'all got your own problems. Fix your own shit. Me and him have figured things out in our relationship, and we're happy with the result, and we're going to go in that direction. So we're not going to let you tell us to live a different life, because you can live that life if you want to, but we're living the life that we chose. And I actually admire that quite a bit. So I think at the end of the day, a relationship is a one-on-one negotiation. It's not a matter of following somebody else's blueprint. It's a matter of looking at all the variables, deciding what you can live with, and deciding what's going to make you happy. Because there's a whole lot of people who do the things that other people tell them to do, and then they're very, very lonely, they're very, very unhappy, and they're very, very pissed off at the end of the day, because that strategy really isn't working, but they're too scared to tell anybody, because the thing that they're guided to do is not conventional, or it's not something that people would necessarily agree with. But there's a lot of people out here who pretend to have happy relationships who are unhappy as shit. A lot of perfect marriages that are really fucked up. A lot of people that pretend like they got it all figured out and they don't know a damn thing. Like there was one lady that used to write, I can't remember her name, but she used to write these relationship articles, I think for The Root, like, you know, that white on publication that pretends to be black. And she used to write all these relationship advice articles. And I met her one time. I met her, and I was like, huh. I was thinking to myself, I didn't say it to her. I was thinking, I would never in 10 million years ever have a relationship with you, because you do not understand men, and you're kind of a bitch. And years later, she announced that she's getting married. And then I think about 6 months after that, she was divorced. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Like when I heard she was getting married, I said, wow, what kind of weird man would marry her? And I bet it won't last long. And lo and behold, I see one day she's writing an article saying, you know, oh, well, I decided to get a divorce because I refuse to settle. I refuse to tolerate this from a man. And I'm like, no, because your ass is somebody that I wouldn't marry. If somebody put a gun to my head and threatened to cut my dick off if I didn't marry you, I'd just be dickless for the rest of my life. Because you know what? At the end of the day, you have to be a good person, not an asshole. And you can't run around through life abusing people. That's not going to work out for you long term, because karma never loses an address. I saw this, somebody put this up on the internet. They said karma never loses an address. And so that negative shit that you're putting out to the world is eventually going to come back to you. So at the end of the day, be a good person, but be a good person to yourself. Love yourself enough to demand that anybody that you let into your life is a good person too. Right? Anybody you let into your life should honor you, should respect you, should appreciate you, should be happy to be with you, should value the things that you're offering. And if they don't value these things, then you have to find somebody else who does. But you also have to know how to check yourself to know when you also are getting a little bit out of line. So anyway, do this for me. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the share and subscribe button. Hit the notification bell. Please hit that notification bell. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that. Just a reminder, the name of that film, in case you haven't seen it, it's theblackloveblueprint.com. THE, that's theblackloveblueprint.com. We're actually shooting the Black Love Blueprint part 2. If you want to watch the trailer, go to theblackloveblueprint.com. The film's on Amazon. We're shooting part 2 right now. The part 2 is actually going to be hashtag Boyce and Alicia. So I'm actually going to document as we prepare for the wedding, which is on July 11th. Everybody's invited. It's going to be Southside Chicago at the University of Chicago in the big Rockefeller Chapel. That was a place we chose as a compromise, because she's a third-generation graduate of the University of Chicago. She always loved that chapel. So I said, okay, we can get married in your chapel. But I was happy that it's on the south side of Chicago, which is kind of a little bit in the hood, like right there near the hood, so people can get there. And I want everybody to participate and come out if they want to. So you're all invited. You just have to RSVP. So I'm gonna put up a RSVP. Also, don't forget this weekend on October 27th, Sunday, I'm going to give an investment seminar. It's 8 hours long in New York City. Mary Dean, the Wall Street lawyer, is going to be one of the speakers, as well as a brother. I'm trying to get brother to come out. He said he wanted to come out. His name's Casterly. He created a mobile app where you can actually analyze and break down your credit score. So if you want to come out and you want to learn everything you need to know about family finances, building wealth, creating a family bank, building your family wealth for the next 100 years, making your children to millionaires, and network with other wealth-minded Black people, go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. Make sure that you buy your tickets online, because there may not be tickets at the door. There's a good chance we may sell out. And somebody said, King West said, the truth says, shout out to the doc. He made it through this video that I mentioned his PhD. Actually, you're wrong. I mentioned it in the beginning. I said my doctoral studies were actually on financial psychology. So you know what? I worked hard for that motherfucker. It took me years to get that shit. It's a real PhD. My dissertation's available online. And so I absolutely positively have no problem mentioning that shit every single day of the week, because I want to make it 100% abundantly clear that when you come to this channel, you're not just hearing a Negro running his mouth on the internet. You're hearing a trained scholar who is an expert on the subject matter to which I'm addressing. So that's what, so yeah, as a Black man, I'm damn proud to be an educated Black man, because you know what? We are in a war against ignorance, and all these ignorant motherfuckers brag about how ignorant they are. So if they're going to brag about how ignorant they are, I'm going to brag about how educated and intelligent I am, to let you know that you are in the right place, and you're not just getting opinion, you're getting a whole lot of facts, and you're definitely getting analysis and things that I thought about over the years. So yes, I do mention it every chance I get, and I have no shame in that game whatsoever. Ain't never gonna stop, can't stop, won't stop, because we are, as Black people, going to rise back to the original kings and queens that we were supposed to be back in ancient Egypt, back when we actually wanted to be smart. Now we're in a dark era where everybody wants to be ignorant, and I'm not a fan of that at all. I'm not a fan of that at all. So there you go. I laid it out there for you, brother. So I love you and I appreciate you. But yes, I will mention that shit again. And if I forget to mention it, just ask me again. I'm gonna mention it a couple more times. All right. So anyway, take care, guys. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Love you guys. I'll see you guys in New York. drboycenewyork.com. Also, don't forget, if you want to teach your kids, put your kids in our Black Business School for Children, feel free to go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. You guys have a great day. Love you, and love you, T.I. and Tiny. I hope that nothing I said here was offensive to them, because I respect them both, and I thought this was a great subject matter to kind of talk about. So you guys have a good day, and I'll thank you, Goddess, Candy Red. I appreciate your comments, and Curtis Davis and Jiggy Steve and Michelle Henderson and Summer and Ricky B and all of you. I love you so much, and you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Peace.